Just checking to see if we're live. Looks like we're live. All right. Let me close some unnecessary windows. All right. Well, hey guys, I hope you can hear me. I'm not going to pay too much attention to the chat because I really am going to just power through these pages and try to get them done. So I figured I'd stream just because I haven't streamed in a long time. I kind of miss it. I miss you guys. I've been watching Doug TeNaples' channel. He's been streaming every day practically, and I'm like, what? I need to catch up. I'm curious if I'm actually streaming. I hope I'm streaming. If I'm not, I guess it doesn't matter. I'll just be talking to myself. Yeah, I am. Okay, thank you for confirming it. And I apologize for not being very talkative today. I can't do the like interview and draw at the same time. It doesn't work for me. I have to just stop and focus on answers. Forget. I think she has. Does she have gloves on? I need to check some reference real quick. No, she does not have gloves. Okay. So the uglier I draw these hands, the uglier her hands actually are because they're not gloves anymore. Oh, thanks. Watching you draw is good enough. I appreciate that. Plus it allows you to have music or something on and you can, enjoy yourself a little more maybe. I will let you guys know that what this is though. This is actually the new version of Phobos. I drew this page, I sketched this out probably 2013, late at night. I went crazy one month, and every night I'd go out into my garage and work on this new version of Phobos. And I got about 80 pages like blocked out, thumbnailed, and some of them finished, but a lot of them are like this, where they're just kind of like rough sketches. And so now I'm finally going to try to attack this again. I figure I've been putting this off long enough, huh? And this will be an interesting one because it will be all black and white for the most part. I'm planning on it being black and white with maybe hints of color, but the black and white is not going to just be like ink, like inks. It'll be a lot of gray tones and a lot of light source and mood lighting and stuff like that. So you can expect it to not be just a normal comic, a normal black and white comic. Cooler Man, you're working on a comic too. Great. Glad you're making it happen. I'm a fan of your art. Thanks for everything you share. You're welcome. What's it called? I'm working on one. If you don't mind me asking. Are you asking me or Cooler Man? Cooler Man, share what comic you're working on with everyone. I don't know if it lets you do links though. I guess you can type in the name. Sometimes when I do sketches, I like the feel of the sketch so much better than when I clean it up. Whatever, that works. Okay, so we got rain outside. See how hideous I can draw these fingers. don't know if you can tell, but I'm going for a loose style this time. No more of this like 50 tracing layers and printing it out and then scanning it back in and then printing it out and scanning it back in. And I decided on that years and years ago for this comic. And so either I stick with it or I have to redo like 50 pages that I've already completed in this loose style. So hey, I'll stick with it. Right? Plus, if I follow through with this book, it's going to be like 12 volumes long. So it's just one of those things. I do not want to pick a slow style for it. I want to be very efficient and fast, but also really enjoy the style. Not satisfied with this thumb. There, does that look ugly enough? Perfect. Oh boy, I see some comments coming. Let me take a break. Let me take a pause and I'll look at some comments, make sure I'm not missing anything. Oh, just so you know, guys, I'm so horrible at reading comments while I'm live streaming. If you guys have questions that you really want me to see, then type in question in bold or in all caps, and then you put your question after that. And then when I scrub through the comments, I will see your question and I'll answer it. Otherwise, I don't know if you're just communicating with each other. There you go. See, the Inseer said it. Question. Hi, Jason. Whose work are you inspired by, if any, when it comes to drawing comics in a looser style? A lot of the artists at DreamWorks actually kind of made it clear to me that I could do you can do really loose stuff, but that still has a real high quality. And especially with paintings, it just was amazing how beautiful and like intricate these paintings were. But you look at it up close and it's just like, wow, you just slopped that out. But it's great. My art director Tang Hang was a great example of that. And Ramon Zebach and his son Christopher Zebach are amazing at a loose style. Nate Ragg, same thing. I worked with him on Captain Underpants and Dino Trucks. And actually that was about the same time I was developing these pages and developing the style for this. And I think that's kind of why, because I realized we could go so much faster. I could go so much faster and still get away with it would still feel like quality. As long as I thought about it correctly and as long as I executed it right, it would still feel like quality. So, And then in comics, trying to think, there's definitely some people in comics that have an amazing loose style. I'm just blanking on it right now as I draw. It works. There's some. Oh, one interesting example is like the Fooly Cooly manga. I remember that when I first saw that, it just really shocked me that how simple and like experimental it was. Not even the animation. The animation's good too and experimental, but the manga's like just like ridiculously quickly drawn. Like some of the pages are drawn with like a Sharpie practically, and yet it still worked. So that was inspiring when I saw that. This looks really bad right down here. This is not meant to be zoomed in on, guys. You're cheating by looking at this so close. And it's supposed to be heavy mood too, so you're not supposed to, for shame, you're not supposed to see all this crusty detail up close. Oh, wait a minute. I think I did that wrong. No? You have to, So you have this nice grad to it. I'm going to have to work on that. Maybe I should rewind just a little bit. Come on. What? That looks creepy. It's not supposed to look like that. I'll focus on this guy. Oh boy, more questions. Let's see. Where's the plot? Plot equals boobs. That works for most of the internet, doesn't it? Question. I'm making a comic, but to fit my art to Webtoon size requirements, I have to resize and crop, and it makes my art loose quality. Do you have any suggestions? I don't, I just make them bigger. Just focus on your pages and make them big and big quality, and then everything, as long as you're shrinking stuff down, it shouldn't make it look sloppier. It should make it look slightly tighter. That would be my suggestion. But it's kind of hard to make it work really nicely on Webtoons if your focus is a book. So there's just some things you just gotta kind of like deal with. Not to mention they don't really reward quality art as much as they reward speed and the amount of content. So, but that doesn't mean you shouldn't do quality. I think you should do quality. I mean, look at this. This is high quality right here. I'm not going fast. I don't go fast. Hours and hours of work on this one panel. Ooh, these glasses look pretty bad. Good thing I'm not going to draw them very many times. I think this is the only time you see this guy. Oh, I just spoiled the story for you. Just ruined it. My wife's texting me. Hold on, guys. I need to respond. Trust me, guys, this will look better when it's printed because it's going to be really small. Please believe me. That I will color in. I will shade in. Come on. There we go. I don't know what I'm drawing there. It's just kind of a bunch of gibberish, whatever. It works, right? It's a detail hopefully no one will look at. Okay, so let me just get some grayscale. What's going on here? So I made it complicated on my complicating because I kind of painted this all on one layer, but I want to match these gray values, so I'll just have to keep turning on and off this layer to make it work. I see another question. Where are you when you first started working on your own comic book? Was it hard for you to find a style of drawing you liked? Not really. The reason I started working on my first comic book was because I was inspired by styles that I liked, and that's what drove me to want to be a comic artist, was being inspired. So, and my comic style is really just kind of a combination of all the styles I have been inspired by. So yeah. Another question: have you ever made a story like a one-shot that tells the story visually? Yeah, I just actually did one called Scribbles. I released it to my patrons, and it was all visual. Unsubscribe? Thank you. Yeah, so I did one just recently. Let's see, let me put some gray in here. Wait. How do I do this? Wait, what? There we go. And what else is that color for hands? And then the paper color. Just keep a little highlight. Sorry, I'm mumbling, guys. Mumbling. I'll make this darker. What's going on? Shouldn't have inked that in the background. Looks like I was just planning on making it its own little lasso there. It's fine. I can still do it. I won't fire myself yet. What is that? I'm making this way more complicated than I need to. I think it's only because it's like the first time I've jumped back into these pages for years. So I want to do it right. Or the way that I think is right. There's so many easier ways to do this. I don't know why I'm doing it like this. Sorry, guys. Boring live stream. Oh, more questions, right? Yes. What's the latest book, movie, etc. that has inspired you? Oh, what was it? See, when I start drawing and working and zoning out, I forget everything. And so when you ask me questions like this, I seriously can't remember. There was a movie that I absolutely loved recently. What was it? I'll have to, maybe it'll come to me. Oh yeah, another question. Are you planning to keep this in grayscale? Looks that way. I'm planning on it, yes. Yes. I'm planning on doing it a little bit with like nice textures though too, and like lasso tool type backgrounds, and then every now and then if I want to hit some color into it, I want to be able to do that. So that's kind of the plan. Let's make that line a grayscale line too. I like the idea of having the backgrounds kind of lasso tool backgrounds for the most part, and the characters drawn, inked. So that's what I'm going for. Okay. I think we got that. If I turn that off, that looks pretty good. Or at least what I was hoping, what I was going for. Let me do another layer here for the very background. I'll just go BG Sky. Question, which, hey, hello, Sorry. Which project is this? This is Phobos. Yay! Sorry, inside joke, guys. Sorry, it doesn't make sense to anyone else. How did your son's Kickstarter campaign go? I never did launch one yet for him because I sold a book of his, but it was more like he sold it at school and to friends and neighbors that we printed. It was a little floppy comic that he made. We never did finish his card game because his card game that I wanted to kickstart, just because it's just hard to kind of keep him inspired on one thing. You know, he changes his mind a lot, like me. So so I don't know. I don't know what will happen with it. It'd be nice if he keeps creating ideas and putting in the work to get him started, you know, to get him going. And it's just really neat to see him make stuff. Oh yeah, we were gonna do this guy. I guess it could be white because it's bright in comparison to inside the car. Even though it's nighttime. Well, I don't have to decide on it right now. I do need to add the rain. Okay, you know, I'm gonna put the blacks all around this because I keep seeing the border. The border, and it's driving me nuts because I'm going, I need that to be black. If I just put black over it, then I won't have to worry about sticking to this border anymore. Sticking within the border lines. There. Much easier, right? Let's see. Question, you said it's Phobos, so are you redrawing some panels, some pages, or are you starting over completely with new story compositions, etc.? Yes, I'm completely redoing it. I redid the old version as much as I could, and back in like 2009 or something when I decided to stop working on it, the story was just not, it wasn't working because I had already gone in this direction too far, and so it was just like salvaging everything and then redrawing pages. And like the 5th issue, which wasn't in the original trade paperback that I released, it would have just meant redrawing every page to make it work. And so each issue had more and more pages redrawn, basically. And so I figured I need to just start over. And so I rewrote it several times, start to finish. And I finally settled on this version of it, the story of this version of it. And I really fell in love with it. But I realized it would be a kind of like almost like a lifelong project where I just keep releasing issues of it every now and then, you know, because it's so big and long. And it could go on forever, really, if I wanted to. And so I was hesitant to really have it be my next project, not to mention it's stupid slapstick kind of comedy, not to mention it's black and white. And so I was hesitant, but I was inspired one month while I was working, while I was in LA, and I did about 100 pages of thumbnails, and then I started executing, like drawing them and sketching them and cleaning them up, and there was about 50-60 pages completely finished. And I love the style and the way it works and the story, and so now it's just a matter of, okay, let me just start doing this for real and releasing it so that people can actually read it instead of just sitting on it for another 5 years or however long. So that's where I'm at with it. So yeah, it is the relaunch of Phobos, basically. Oh, not to just do shameless plugs, but if you guys want to read it, when I relaunch it, it's going to be only for my patrons. I'm going to release it as a patron-only type subscription comic, and then once I get enough of it done, like maybe 300 pages or something like that, then I'll actually kickstart it into a hardcover book, and then it'll be more public. But for the development and the pages coming out digitally online, it'll be behind the patron wall. So that's the kind of the big difference I'm going to be doing with this. Other than live streaming, if you want to watch me live stream it, then you can kind of get a hint at what the story's about. I should have done this different. I'm still figuring out my technique, guys. It's like I have a method to the madness, but I haven't refined it yet. I haven't refined the steps to make it actually efficient. I should have put this all on another layer so I can do some grads on it and everything, but oh well. Now we'll do it the long way. Now for this guy. First, I'll start with the shape of the interior of the car. works. Kind of like the messiness of the sketch better. Maybe I can just kind of do it. I don't know. Okay. We'll call that not good enough and see if we can fix it. See, I used to have these brushes that I worked with that I liked for this style, but I can't remember what they were. Whatever, that's fine. Who cares, right? Nobody cares. This isn't going to be the finished product. By the way, I do put a little filter on it with texture so it kind of blends this stuff together. So I don't need to get too hung up on it. Shouldn't have drawn all that. Getting close. Let's see comments again. Question. Awesome that it's the patron only. Will it be a weekly comic like Cithra or have some other schedule? I haven't figured it out yet, really. I don't know if I want to release it in like chunks of it every month, you know, like an actual comic book sized chunk, or if I want to release pages as I kind of finish them. Or what? I haven't figured that out yet, but I do want to start posting stuff this month. And it might be something that I kind of, excuse me, something that I kind of like feel out to see how it works, how people want it, and what works with how I make the comic, because a lot of times I work on chunks of pages, groups of pages all at once. And so that would make it kind of difficult to release one page at a time. What am I looking at? Okay, great. But I can definitely, either way, I can definitely see releasing stuff, making the progress on it fast enough to where where there's like, it could be like a weekly or even multiple updates a week if I just choose to do one page at a time, which I think would be fun. Let's see. Man, this makes it hard to do it the way I'm doing it. What's going on? Oh, it's like locked. It's like stuck. No wonder. Okay. Sorry guys, I keep clicking this stuff on and off. It's driving me mad. You guys are probably having seizures. I need to have the seizure disclaimer at the beginning of my stream. Man, I'm so not efficient right now. I'm just wasting time. Like trying to just like remember how to put these layers together. Okay, I don't want to do that. I want to put that behind it. I'm gonna get it, guys. I'm gonna do it. Stick with me. I can do that. Black steering wheel. It almost looks like this little area is his thumb. I kind of like how that looks, but it's not in the sketch. It was an accident. So I'm wondering if I should draw on his thumb there now. Obviously the word balloons are all temporary. And I need to finish the coloring here too. So kind of to give you an idea of what it'll look like, that's a little closer. I have like a film grain type filter on it. Because my goal with this is to make it look like the classic horror films that are black and white with a lot of film grain and heavy mood lighting. That's the goal. So everything's gonna pretty much be like that. The right side here is just a kind of a loose sketch, but I'm gonna do that all with a lasso tool and clean it up. Okay. Ooh, more questions. Are the live streams with the other comic artists going to start up again? They are the most inspiring videos on YouTube. I would like to. I had to, you know, summer was just like crazy, and I was juggling a lot of projects, and some of them were freelance, so I couldn't show them to anybody. And then another section was about a month was trying to work on cognitive drawing, which was very, it took a lot of brain power for me to do it. And so I figured I needed to just stay focused. But I think school's starting up in a couple weeks, and so the schedule's going to get a little bit more evened out, and I'd like to kind of start it back up around then, is my thoughts. So let's hope. And then I'll probably be working on this when we're live streaming, and hopefully that means I'll actually make progress on stuff. The last times, all the last live streams I did, like with the group, it seems I just felt like I wasn't getting anything done because I was working on stuff that required a little bit more quiet time to complete. And but this I can do while people are talking for sure. So anyway, sorry, another question. Like it's Tuesday, Friday updates. Some of the favorite. Oh, question. I plan on making my own webcomic. What do you think about updating it on a WordPress type of site, or would it seem very unprofessional to use free blog hosting service? WordPress is great. You just need to find the right template that works with you. I'm actually developing a template. It's pretty much ready to go that I will house Phobos on, this comic. I will. So my patrons will get it in updates, but then I'll put it onto this secret website. And even if people type in the URL, it'll be fine because it'll just take them to a page that'll say, here's this cool comic, you want it? Join my Patreon. Because the only way to access it would be through the Patreon links that I give. And so, anyway, but that's a WordPress site, and I love WordPress. I used it for Cithra when I first started Cithra, and Remind for all of Remind. Remind is still on a WordPress site. So I, just make it look good, and people won't think it's unprofessional. So that's all I got for you. Pearson said, I like the Tuesday and Friday updates. Some of my favorite comics have had that schedule. What about Thursday? Cooler Man says, Tuesday and Friday. That could work. Even though it goes against everything that everyone tells you with webcomics, I'm almost in favor of not saying what my schedule will be, because the more I feel locked into a schedule, the less fun it seems to be. I mean, I work really fast anyway, so if I could just sit down and focus and work, I know I'll produce the content, but I know that might go against me. Okay, let me do this background. Should I do it that same color? Don't know. Excuse me. I'm hiccuping. Oh, excuse me. Sorry, guys. I want to do something with this letter, like a interesting light source on it or something, so it's interesting. Not as boring as it is. We got some rain. What to use for rain? Actually, I think I have a little rain file that I made one time. I was trying to develop this into a brush, and I made it in Photoshop, and then and then I applied it. I used it for all these pages that I was working on, and then my computer crashed, and I lost the brush and my pages, and because I didn't save them. Totally my fault. And so then I never did it again. Instead I was like, forget it. I don't need to make a brush anymore. So let's just. I don't know if this is going to fit the style, because this was actually inked on paper. It's so clean, you know? It's a little cleaner than I'm going for. people will see these pages and go, your drawings are so sloppy, but your rain is so clean and perfect. You have the most beautiful rain ever. I don't know if I ever told you guys this story, but when I used to do storyboards, I worked in storyboards for about 6 years for commercials and stuff. There was this one director that kept hiring me, and I couldn't figure out why he would hire me. And one day he was just like, he told me, he was like, you're the only storyboard artist that can draw these 3D arrows so perfectly. Your 3D arrows are just so amazing. And it's like, it's such a small part of storyboards. And it made me feel like, okay, great. My drawings are okay, but my 3D arrows that say the camera moves this direction is the the thing that gets me the job. Okay. Back to work. Ooh, that looks good. What is that? Gray. Oh man, if I have to change this, I'm screwing this file up so bad. It's just a hodgepodge of layers that don't mean anything. Oh. Okay. Guys, I'm just making a fool out of myself trying to do this. It's so stupid. Okay. That's that color. I'm gonna make a new layer with this little face on it. Face light. And that's what's gonna be this. And this. Okay. That was easy. See how easy that was? Seizure mode. Why? I swear, you guys just watch these streams so you can see me get frustrated. Right? Oh, the flow is really low. No wonder. I need to do something more to that guy. I guess it's kind of about as flat as my coloring was originally. Question. Oh no, question. Charlena says, Jason, don't foo a schedule. I know you meant do. So so you don't think so? Is there a reason you don't think I should do a schedule? Is it just because of what just so that it's more peace of mind for me, or is there a different reason? I'm curious. Question, have you ever tried Sketchbook? It's awesome and it's free now. No, I haven't. Is that for iPad? I thought that was for iPad, right? I'm learning by watching you draw, Jason. Good. Cool. I'm glad. Okay, let's see if I can finish this left side. At least get it to where I'm happy with it. So this character down here in the corner is way too dark. I want it to kind of be faded. So maybe I'll break these inks off from the inks level. So now it's its own layer. I can lighten it up as much as I want. Oops, not like that. That's kind of what I did. Let's do lighten. Oops, no. Darken. Doesn't have the same appeal as that sketch. Maybe I could just use that sketch. I mean, it's rough. As rough as my inks. Because once I put the texture back on it, kind of fades it away. I need to kind of get my confidence back with the style I'm trying to do. I'm feeling like I'm kind of second guessing myself a lot right now. Okay, I think that works. And then when I put the film grain on it. It looks good, I think. Need to extend this a little because there's a little white on the edge. I'm hoping that as I go forward with this, I will not do as many of these kind of like concept paintings for panels that require them to be completely reworked, you know. I'd started out with this comic doing that because I didn't know I didn't know if I could do the style that I was wanting to do until I tried it. Now, for this rain. I'll just keep that bright. Thanks, Fitz Factor. Have a good time. I'll see you next stream, maybe. I think I'm almost done anyway. Kind of want to do a little effect over top of these hands. Let's try something. Some shadow maybe. Okay, I think I'm feeling good about it. I'll just mess with these word balloons a little bit. Make them a little nicer. I think I'm going to go really simple on word balloons this comic. Unlike Cithra, where I was like, I'm going to make the word balloons really artistic. I spent so much time on those word balloons. I think it paid off, but I just don't want to spend that much time on word balloons this time. word balloons. Sorry. I don't know if it's just me or if this word balloon looks ugly. Oops. Oops. Get that text on top of the filters. All right, there you guys go. A little preview of the first, not the very first pages, but a preview of some of the first pages of the new Phobos. Of course, the right side of the panels are not, no, the right side is not done. It's just still kind of like a loose painting that I'm going to try to clean up. I'll probably do that tomorrow. I don't know. Anyway, I think I'm going to call it quits for this stream. I thank you guys for joining me, and thank you for the questions, and I sure do appreciate you guys subscribing and watching and following and communicating with me, because I'm sitting here by myself in my office and sometimes it gets lonely. And if you guys want to support this or read this comic as it comes out, then please become patrons. Wow, that sounded like a professional announcer voice. Let me put my patron URL here in the chat. So there is my patron URL. I'm going to be releasing this comic as a patron-only comic, so that will be the way to read it until it comes out in book form. And yeah, that's it, guys. I am planning on streaming a lot more regularly now as I draw. And again, like I said a little earlier, I'm going to plan on bringing back the studio live stream where I stream with other artists as well, because that was really fun. It's just, it didn't work for summer very good. So that's it for now. See you guys. See you next time. Hey, Trevor. Bye. Now I just need to sign off.